Be me, 35, independence coach and personal autonomy advocate. Built entire platform around women's right to space. Women don't need to be attached at the hip. Personal space is fundamental human right. Relationships shouldn't be suffocating. Published book on this. Breathing Room, Why Women Need Space. In Relationships Without Guilt. Became required reading. In women's empowerment circles. Used in therapy practices. Referenced in articles. Had coaching practice. Teaching women to demand space. Set boundaries around alone time. Not feel guilty for needing distance. This was my expertise. My mission. My professional identity. Gave workshops on healthy independence. How relationships can be smothering. How women lose themselves in constant togetherness. How space is essential for maintaining identity, for personal growth, for mental health. Met my partner at 31. He was 33, paramedic. Very present, very attentive. Wanted to spend lots of time together. Called frequently when apart. Texted throughout the day. Made plans for every weekend. At first it was flattering. His attention felt validating. His desire to be together. Felt like love. Felt like commitment. But after 6 months, started feeling crowded. Like I couldn't breathe. Like I had no space. To be myself. Every evening he'd come over. Or want me at his place. Every weekend planned together. Every free moment. Accounted for. Started feeling suffocated. Needed room to breathe. Room to be alone. Room to exist. Without being part of we. Month 8 of relationship. Decided to address it. I need to talk about something. He looked concerned immediately. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Just need more space. Space. Yes, more time alone. More independence. More room to breathe. Did I do something? No, you're wonderful. Just too much togetherness. Need more separation. Okay, he said slowly. What do you need? Explain my needs. Not every evening together. Some nights I need alone. Not constant texting. Maybe check in once daily. Some weekends apart. Doing our own things. More independence overall. Less constant contact. He listened carefully. Took notes even. I understand. I can give you space. Thank you for understanding. First week was adjustment. He stopped coming over. Every evening. Only came when invited. Stopped texting constantly. Just one message daily. Hope you're having a good day. That was it. Stopped making weekend plans. Left weekends open. For me to decide. This felt good. Had breathing room. Had alone time. Had independence. Second week. He continued same pattern. Minimal contact. Came over once. When I invited him. One text per day. No weekend plans. Started feeling a bit too distant. But didn't say anything. I'd asked for space. He was giving it. Third week. Barely saw him. He didn't initiate any hangouts. Didn't suggest any activities. Just responded when I reached out. Even then, responses were brief. Polite, but distant. Sure, that works. Sounds good. Whatever you prefer. Started to feel strange. Where was the enthusiasm? The desire to see me? The effort? Month 2 of this. Felt like we were barely in relationship. Saw him twice. Both times I initiated. He was pleasant, but not particularly engaged or excited. Texted him more. To feel connected. His responses. Brief, polite. No questions back. No real engagement. Just acknowledgments. Cool. Nice. Glad to hear it. Started feeling really disconnected. Like we were casual acquaintances. Not partners. Brought it up. I feel like we're distant. He looked at me. You asked for space? I'm giving it to you. This much space, though? You weren't specific. About how much? I'm erring on side of giving you what? You said you needed. But I miss you. You said you were feeling suffocated by too much togetherness. I don't want to suffocate you. This felt wrong, but couldn't articulate what I wanted. Wanted space, but not this much distance. Wanted independence, but not this separation. Wanted breathing room, but not this void. Month 3. Things got worse. He stopped texting, even his daily check-in. Completely. When I texted him, would respond hours later. Sometimes next day, with minimal reply. Suggested we hang out. I'm busy this week. Maybe next week. Next week came. Actually have plans. Rain check. Started feeling desperate. trying to reach him, trying to connect. He was always busy, tired, not sure, polite but unavailable. Brought it up again. You're avoiding me. He shook his head. Not avoiding. Just giving you the space you asked for. This is too much space. You said you felt suffocated by me, that I was too present, too attentive, too much togetherness. I'm fixing that. By completely disappearing? By respecting your needs. My need wasn't for you to vanish. Then what was it? Didn't have clear answer. Wanted space, but also connection. Wanted independence, but also partnership. Wanted breathing room, but also relationship. These felt contradictory. Started talking to friends about the situation. Friend Sarah listened. So you told him you needed space? Yes. And he gave it to you. Too much of it. How much did you want exactly? I don't know. Just not suffocated, but not abandoned. Did you tell him that? I told him I needed space, but not how much. Not what it looked like. So he's guessing, and guessing conservatively. This made sense, but also frustrated me. He should know what I meant. Friend disagreed. He can't read your mind. You said you felt suffocated. He backed way off to give you room. Now you're upset. He backed too far off. That's not fair to him. Started seeing pattern in my clients too. Woman after woman asking for space. Partners giving it. Then women unhappy with amount of space. Client, 29, described exactly this. I told my boyfriend I needed more independence. Now he's completely independent, barely acknowledging I exist. What did you want? Space, but not separation. Independence, but connection. Room to breathe, but still feel loved. Did you communicate that? I just said I needed space. He gave you what you asked for. Too much of it. How was he supposed to know where the line was? He should just know. Should he though? Started researching this for professional development. Found interesting work on ambiguous communication. When people say, I need space, partners hear different things. Some hear a little distance. Some hear significant separation. Some hear near breakup. Without specificity, partners often err on side of caution, giving more space than may have been wanted to avoid being accused of not respecting boundaries. This created pattern. Woman asks for space vaguely. Man gives maximum space. Woman feels abandoned. Man feels confused. Both unhappy. Neither sure what went wrong. Published article about this. The space paradox. When asking for distance creates too much. Detailed the pattern. Vague requests for space. Partners overcorrecting. Original requester feeling abandoned. Confusion on both sides. Article went viral immediately. Women sharing experiences. This is exactly what happened. I asked for space. He gave me complete distance. Now I miss him, but feel stupid for complaining. Men sharing too. My girlfriend said she needed space. I gave her lots. Now she's angry. I'm too distant. Can't win. Started getting criticism from other advocates. You're blaming women for men not understanding basic communication. But was it basic? If someone says, I need space, without specification, how much is appropriate? Started interviewing therapists about this dynamic. Dr. Lisa Rodriguez, couples therapist, explained the issue. When someone says, I need space, without specifics, partner is left guessing. She continued. Most partners err on giving more space rather than less, because violating space request feels more serious than giving too much. So they overcorrect. Exactly. Give maximum distance to be safe. Then original requester feels abandoned, but they asked for it. How do couples avoid this? Be specific. Not just I need space, but I need 2 evenings, a week alone, or I need to not text constantly but still talk daily. Concrete specifics, not vague requests. Started seeing this in my own situation. I'd said, I need space. Never specified how much. Never defined what that meant. He'd interpret it as maximum distance to respect my boundaries. Now we barely had a relationship, and it was my own fault. Went to couples therapy to address this. First session was revealing. Therapist asked me, what did you mean when you said you needed space? Thought about it. Men I needed. Some evenings alone. Not constant texting. Some independence. Did you say that? No. Just said I needed space. Felt suffocated. How did you interpret that? She asked him. He was quiet. Then honest. I thought she meant she was overwhelmed by me. That I was too much. That she needed significant distance to figure out if she even wanted to be with me. That's not what I meant. But that's what I heard when you said you felt suffocated by me. By our togetherness. I heard that I was smothering you, that you needed lots of room, maybe permanent room. He continued. So I gave you what I thought you were asking for. Major distance, near breakup level, to give you space, to breathe, to decide. I just meant a little breathing room. You didn't say that. You said suffocated. That's a strong word. Suggests major problem, needing major solution. Therapist intervened. This is classic communication breakdown. One person asks for space vaguely. Other interprets as major separation. Both end up unhappy. She continued. The solution is specific communication. Not I need space, but I need X amount of space in Y way. Gave examples. I need 2 nights a week to myself. Or, I need us to not text constantly but still talk once daily. Or, I need some weekends to do my own thing while still seeing you. Other weekends. These were specific. These were clear. These were actionable. Not vague space. That could mean anything. Started homework. Defining what I actually wanted. Realized I wanted 3 evenings together weekly. 4 evenings alone. 1 text conversation daily. Not constant texting. 2 weekends monthly together. 2 weekends for own activities. Balance of togetherness and independence. Showed him this. He looked relieved. This I can do. This is clear. Before I thought you wanted to barely see me. No, I wanted balance. You said suffocated. I thought that meant you wanted out. Started implementing specific arrangement. 3 nights together. 4 nights apart. Daily text conversation. Not constant stream. Alternating weekends. Together and separate. This felt right. Had independence. Had connection. Had breathing room. Had relationship. But damage was done. 3 months of distance had created gap between us. He was still cautious. Still holding back. Still not fully present. When we were together, noticed he was different. Less enthusiastic. Less engaged. More guarded. Asked about it. You seem distant. Even when we're together. He nodded slowly. I am. Why? Because I'm protecting myself. From what? From being too much again. From suffocating you. From making you need space again. You're not too much. You said I was. You said you felt suffocated. That I was too present. Too attentive. That doesn't just go away. Started crying. Realized the impact of my words. Of my vague request. Had made him feel like he was too much. Like his love was suffocating. Like his presence was burden. And now he was protecting himself by not being fully present. Even when allowed. Therapist explained. He's developed protective distance after feeling rejected. For being himself. Can it be healed? With time and consistency. But he needs to know you actually want him, not just tolerate him. In measured doses. Started working on this. Not just following schedule, but showing I wanted his presence, his attention, his affection. When he'd text, I'd respond enthusiastically, not just politely. When he'd suggest plans, I'd show excitement, not just agreement. When he'd show affection, I'd reciprocate warmly, not just accept. Slowly, over months, started seeing him come back, become more present, more himself, more open. But there was still fundamental shift. He was more careful, more measured, less spontaneously affectionate, less openly vulnerable. The innocence was gone. The unguarded love he'd had before. I'd told him it was suffocating, that I needed space from his presence. He remembered that, internalized it, now gave me permanent space in his heart. Where he used to be completely open, now there was careful distance, protection. Made post about this journey. I asked for space. He gave me permanent distance. Detailed everything. My vague request. His maximum distance interpretation. My unhappiness with result. Our recovery attempt. The permanent change. In his openness. Post resonated massively. Thousands of shares. Women commenting. This is exactly what happened to me. I asked for space. He gave me so much. Now feels like he's emotionally gone, even when physically present. Men commenting too. I'm that guy who backed way off after being told I was too much. Now she wants me back, but I'm protecting myself. Can't fully return. These comments were painful because they showed pattern was widespread and damage was real. Started doing workshops on specific communication about space needs, teaching women to be clear about what they want, not just what they don't. One workshop participant shared her story. I told my husband I needed space. He moved to guest room for 6 months. Barely spoke to me. I needed one evening a week alone, not separation. Another woman. Same thing happened. I said I felt suffocated. He became completely distant. Even now, 2 years later, he's not the same. There's a wall that wasn't there before. Men in workshop shared. When she said suffocated, I heard that I was the problem, that my love was burden. So I pulled back, all the way back, safer than risking being too much again. Another man. I gave her the space she asked for, all of it. Now she says, I'm too distant, but I'm just respecting what she said she needed. Started teaching framework for requesting space specifically. Don't say, I need space. Say, I need specific amount of alone time because reason, but I still want specific connection. Examples. I need 2 evenings weekly to recharge by myself, but I love our other nights together. Or, I need us to text less during work hours, but I want our evening calls. Or, I need some weekends for my own hobbies, but want a plan. Adventures together other weekends. This specificity helps partners understand. You want balance, not abandonment. You need breathing room, not breakup. You value connection, just need some space within it. Started seeing success stories from workshop participants, women who'd requested space specifically, partners who understood and provided exact amount. Both people happy with balance achieved. One woman emailed, I told my boyfriend I need Tuesday and Thursday evenings alone. He understood perfectly. Gives me those nights. We're close other nights. Perfect balance. Man emailed, my wife told me specifically what she needed. Not vague space, but concrete this many hours weekly alone. I can do that. No problem. She's happy. I'm happy. But also got emails from people like me who'd asked vaguely. Partners overcorrected. Now trying to repair, but finding it difficult. One woman wrote, I asked for space 3 years ago. He's never fully come back, even though I've tried to show I want him. The damage is permanent. Another woman, my husband gave me all the space I asked for, and then some. Now we're basically roommates, sleep in same house, but emotionally divorced. I can't undo it. These emails haunted me because they showed some damage couldn't be fully repaired. Once partner interpreted, I need space as, I don't want you. They protected themselves by creating permanent distance, even if original person changed their mind. My own relationship, 2 years after this space conversation, had stabilized. We had good balance. 3 nights together, 4 nights apart, alternating weekends, daily communication. It worked functionally, but emotionally, something was different. He was present, but guarded, affectionate, but measured, loving, but protected. The spontaneous overflow of affection he'd had was gone. The unguarded vulnerability was gone. The assumption that his love was welcome was gone, replaced with careful calibration of how much to give, how much to show, how much to risk. Recently told him, I miss how you used to be. He looked at me. What do you mean? How open you were. How freely affectionate. How much you'd show. You loved me. That's what you said. Was suffocating. It wasn't. I was wrong. But you said it. And I believed you. I learned that my natural way of loving you was too much. He continued, I can't unlearn that. Can't go back to being that open, that vulnerable, that freely loving. Because I remember what you said, because he was right. I taught him. His love was burden. His presence was suffocation. His affection was too much. He'd internalized that. Now loved me. From careful distance. Measured doses. Protected heart. Made final comprehensive post. 2 years after asking for space. The permanent distance it created. Full story. My vague request. His maximum interpretation. The months of separation. The attempt to reconnect. The permanent change. In his emotional availability. Post went viral. Millions of views. Because it touched. Something real. Something many experienced. Comments were moving. This is my life. I asked for space. Got permanent distance. Can't get him back. Another. I'm the partner. Who pulled back. After being told. I was too much. She wants me to be close again. But I can't risk it. Another. Reading this crying. Because I did this. To someone who loved me completely. And I called it suffocating. Now he's gone. In every way that matters. Started consulting with relationship researchers about this phenomenon. Dr. James Park studied attachment injuries. When someone says, your love is suffocating, that creates deep wound in partners' attachment. He explained, they learn that their natural way of expressing love is unwelcome, is too much, is burden. He continued, they protect themselves by creating distance, permanent distance, in their emotional availability. Even if partner later says they want closeness, the wound remains. Can it heal? Sometimes partially, but rarely fully. They remember being told their love was too much. That memory creates lasting guardedness. This confirmed what I was experiencing. Partner had been wounded by my words, by my vague space request that he interpreted as major rejection. Now he was healed enough to be present, but not unguarded, not fully open, not spontaneously loving. The wound had left. Permanent scar tissue. Published research paper. Attachment wounds from space requests. Long-term impact on emotional availability. Surveyed 2,000 people who'd asked partners for space. And those partners. Results were stark. Of partners who heard, I need space, or I feel suffocated. 78% pulled back significantly. 63% never fully returned emotionally. 54% developed lasting guardedness. 47% relationship eventually ended. Even when original requester wanted closer connection later, partners couldn't provide it. The wound was too deep. The protection too necessary. Paper got significant attention. From therapy community. From relationship educators. From people living this reality. One therapist commented, I see this constantly. Client asks for space vaguely. Partner interprets as rejection. Pulls back permanently. Client wants them back. Partner too hurt to return. Relationship dies slowly. Another therapist. The key is specificity. Before the damage is done. Once partner hears, you're suffocating me, and pulls back. Very hard to fully recover. Started final workshop series. Before you ask for space. How to request clearly. Teaching people to communicate specific needs before causing damage. With vague rejections. Workshop was always full. People wanting to avoid mistakes I'd made. Mistakes they'd seen in others. One participant, young woman, 26, was having feelings of being crowded by boyfriend. I want to ask for space. But after your story, I'm scared. Don't be scared. Just be specific. How? Tell him exactly what you need. Not just space. But I need too. Evenings weekly alone. For self-care. But I love our other time together. She tried this. Email me later. He understood perfectly. Gives me those nights. Without being hurt. Without pulling back. Because I was clear about still wanting him. This was success. What I'd failed to do. What I should have done. What could have prevented everything that followed. Current relationship. 3 years after space request. Is functional. Is pleasant. Is stable. But missing something. That can't be recovered. His full emotional presence. His unguarded love. His spontaneous affection. His complete vulnerability. All gone. Protected behind careful walls that he built. When I said I needed space, and he gave me permanent distance to protect himself from being too much. Again, that's what I learned from asking for space without specificity, without clarity, without reassurance, that I still wanted him, just in different measure. He heard rejection. He created distance. He never fully returned, even when I wanted him to, because the wound from being told his love was suffocating left permanent mark on how much he'd risk with me. That's the truth. That's the cost of vague communication about space needs, of saying I need space without defining how much, what kind, while reassuring you still want connection, just different balance. Partner hears worst, interprets maximum, protects accordingly, and even when you want them back, they're too hurt, too guarded, too protected to fully return. That's what happened. That's what I live with. Functional relationship with someone who used to love me completely openly, now loves me carefully distantly, because I asked for space, and he gave me more than I wanted, more than I meant. Permanent space in his heart, where I used to be completely welcomed, now carefully tolerated in measured doses from protected distance. That's what I need. Space without specificity, without reassurance, without clarity, actually creates permanent distance that can't be undone, no matter how much you want to. Later, that's the lesson I learned too late and live with every day in relationship. That works, but will never be what it was before I said those words. That changed everything forever. 5 years have passed now since that conversation. That changed everything. Partner and I are still together, still maintaining the balance. 3 nights together, 4 nights apart, but the closeness never returned. Last week was our anniversary. He took me to dinner. Nice restaurant, thoughtful gift, but felt like business transaction. Polite, appropriate, carefully measured. Not the overflowing love he used to have. Told my therapist, I miss who he was. She asked carefully, do you think he misses who he was too? Probably. Then you're both grieving the relationship you had before you asked for space. Can we get it back? Some doors, once closed, don't reopen. Some wounds, once made, don't fully heal. This is my reality, living with someone who loves me from distance. Because I taught him. His closeness was suffocating. His presence was too much. His love was burden. He learned that lesson. Never unlearned it. Even when I begged him to. Made final post. 5 years after. Living with the space I demanded. Honest account of what my life is now. Good relationship functionally. Dead relationship emotionally. Partner who's present, but never fully there. Love that exists, but behind careful walls. Post got millions of views. Thousands of comments. All variations of, I did this too. Can't undo it. Living with consequences. Or from younger women. Thank you for warning. We'll be specific. When asking for space. Won't make your mistake. That's my purpose now. Teaching others. What I learned. Too late. That I need space. Without specificity. Without reassurance. Without clarity. Doesn't create healthy boundaries. Creates permanent distance. Doesn't improve relationship. Damages it irreparably. Doesn't give you breathing room. Gives you empty room. Where love used to be. Full and unguarded. Now carefully rationed. From protected distance. That's what I have. That's what I created. That's what I live with. Man who loves me, but will never again. Love me openly. Love me completely. Love me without walls. Because I asked for space. And he gave me all the space I could ever want. And more than I can bear. Forever separated. Even while together. That's the truth. That's the cost. That's what happens when you ask for space without knowing exactly what you're really asking for is permanent distance from someone who once loved you with everything and now loves you with careful nothing. That's my lesson. That's my warning. That's my life. 5 years later, still wishing I'd been specific, still living with the space I demanded, the distance he gave, the walls that stay up, forever protecting him from ever being too much for me. Again, that's what space really costs everything.